Hello everyone and welcome to the first ever video on my channel. This little girl who has currently got hiccups is called Lydia. She was born 5 weeks premature at 35 weeks and she was born weighing £5.11. She's currently only £5.5 though. She looks quite big on pictures but she's tiny in real life. Don't know if you can see next to my hand. I wanted to do a channel which shares sort of a week by week vlog on how I'm finding it into becoming a mum, the ups, the downs, the emotions. Just wanted to share everything on how I'm finding it week by week. So this is obviously week 1. We are very much settled at home now, which I will get into, and the big story on how Lydia has come into this world, because it wasn't or isn't kind of your normal story onto how I've become a mum. So I just wanted to share that as well and give a bit of an insight into sort of how I found motherhood and how I've become to be a mum. So I'm actually going to pop her down because I think she is due a bit of sleep and she's a bit tired. So I'll be back in a minute. So as we know, this is my first video and I don't quite know what I'm doing. So I've grabbed myself a cup of coffee, which I very much need, and I just thought I'd just have a general chit chat. I'm quite used to posting on social media, so this isn't necessarily new to me, but actually doing videos like this is. But I always knew when we were expecting Lydia that I wanted to do sort of a vlog, document, you know, becoming a mum and how it's sort of going week by week for me, because I love looking at things like this and I hope other people do too, just seeing how others get on. Is there any tips you can prepare for? Just seeing how other people adapt to things like this, so that's why I wanted to do it. So obviously this first video is going to be about week 1 of becoming a mum, week 1 of having a newborn and how she has absolutely changed our lives. But as I have sat down to think about doing this video, I have realised that there is a lot of stuff that I need to catch everyone up on, because our route to becoming parents, Josh and I, my soon-to-be husband, it's not been easy for us. We have been trying to have Lydia or have a child for the last 6 years. She has come into this world through IVF and surrogacy. So I haven't carried her, I haven't given birth. She is biologically mine and Josh's child. His sperm, my egg, our embryo. She is ours, but I just haven't carried her. And that is because I am unable to carry. My womb isn't big enough to carry a child to full term, which I've known since being a teenager, so it was nothing new to me. I am now 30. I always knew I would have to go down this route to become a mum. So yeah, she has been a long time coming, and I probably will have to do a different video on how we got to the point of her, our surrogate, being pregnant with her. I'd quite like to do a birth story video as well, because I know from the surrogacy world there isn't many people who have documented how surrogacy has been for them in terms of when the child is born and how you are treated in the hospital and all that stuff, bonding with this new baby that you've not carried. So I will be doing a whole separate video on this. So let's get into it. So I'll obviously briefly talk about her birth, but she was born by emergency C-section at 11:30 at night on the 28th of December. We weren't allowed in theatre because it was an emergency section for our surrogate. So they brought Lydia out to us pretty much. Lydia had a few breathing problems at birth and she had to stay in theatre for a while. But she was born at 11:29 p.m. and at around midnight, the NICU team came out to us and said, we're going to admit you to this room on the delivery suite for me and Josh. Do you want to come in here now and we will bring you in? Obviously it's a moment I will never forget, but when I was walking down the corridor to the room that they were taking us to, where we would meet our daughter after 6 years of waiting for her, I didn't know what to expect. I was thinking, I don't know what I'm doing, completely lost. Like, I knew her and our surrogate was okay at this point, but I was just thinking, I can't believe I'm at this moment. I think that is one of the main feelings that I had. I cannot believe we are literally about to walk into this room and a midwife is going to bring our daughter into us. Like, it just felt so surreal. She's literally in front of me right now in her cot. I'm sat in her nursery, and it still feels so surreal to think that me and Josh have a daughter, and if we want, the road of infertility is now over for us if we choose not to have any more children. And it's, when you've been in this world for 6 years, it's just the most surreal but overwhelming, and I'll get into this, most overwhelming feeling. I just didn't know what to expect, and the thought of someone just coming in now and handing me this baby, I didn't know what to do. Obviously everyone talks about this complete rush of love that you have for your children when you first meet them, and with it being surrogacy, I didn't know whether I would get that. In all honesty, I wasn't too concerned about getting that instant rush of love. I know from my own friends who have had and birthed their own children that they didn't necessarily get that, and it wasn't really a concern for me. I always knew if I didn't get that instant bond and love, I would 100% develop that as time went on. And I'm not an emotional person, but just thinking now, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video, and you'll probably feel like I'm rambling a little bit, but one of the reasons I wanted to do these videos is just to kind of, for my own sake, think back on these moments and just, oh bless you darling, just document them and just try and remember them and relive them as much as I can, because we waited so long for it, and I don't know if we will ever get that moment again. Again, a whole nother story. But yeah, they took us into this room, just like your normal delivery suite room, and they walked in with her, and they were like, congratulations. There was quite a few nurses in there and midwives, and they were so lovely. There was a few of them, and they were like, sorry, we just wanted to come in. We absolutely love seeing stories like this where parents have obviously been wanting their children for years and years, and now finally get to meet them. So everyone was just literally overjoyed for us, and it was such a lovely moment. And they put her in my arms, and she was this tiny little dot. She was crying her eyes out, but yeah, they put her in my arms, and in all honesty, I wouldn't say there was this immediate, like, I don't know how to describe it, but I looked down at her and I thought, I would literally do anything for you, absolutely anything, whether that is love, bond, I don't know how to describe it, but it was just an immediate, you're my child and I will literally do anything for you. I'm not emotional, but it does make me a bit emotional thinking back on that, because it was a whirlwind. It was an emergency section, and we were literally getting into bed about an hour before the moment where we met our daughter. So yeah, it was very rushed. As I said, she was 5 weeks early, and yeah, just having them put her in my arms, I will just never forget that ever. So she's come back in because she was getting a little bit like she wanted a cuddle, and that's fine. So yeah, we had her from midnight. I'll do a full birth story, but basically that was like the first day of having her, and in all honesty, it was the biggest emotion that I felt at that time. It was pure relief, just relief that she was with us in our arms after all this time, relief that our surrogate was in a lot of pain, but she was okay and she'd got through the C-section. Yeah, it was just pure relief, as well as a lot of love. It was just so, I think a lot of people who have gone through IVF journeys and infertility journeys and years of trying to have a child, when they finally have one, they will understand that feeling. Others might do too, but that instant relief that everything is okay. And yeah, so pretty much then, from around 24 hours after she was born, it was always a bit touch and go whether she needed to go to neonatal. She's only £5, she was 5 weeks early. Even though her breathing was okay, her feeding was a little bit off. So this was on like the day after she was born, and obviously I had not been to sleep at this point. She was born 11:30 at night, and I'd not obviously slept that night. And of course, along came the parents to come and visit her that first day, which was fine with us. They were just as excited as we were for her to be born. But it's crazy how quick the pure exhaustion just hits. And all I can describe this first week of being a mum is just pure overwhelm, like not in a bad way whatsoever, but just the exhaustion, the overwhelming feeling that you now have this tiny human to look after. And then on top of that, she was premature, and that's had its own battles at first with her feeding, and because she was born under a general anaesthetic, she was quite sleepy and didn't want to move them for sort of a few hours, maybe the first day. But we were quite lucky really. So she was born at 11:30 at night on the Sunday, and we were home with her. Oh dear. We were discharged with her on the Tuesday morning, lunchtime. So we were only in the hospital for around 36 hours, which is amazing for her being 5 weeks early. I think the worst point of this first week for me was that second day when we were first coming home. Because obviously the Sunday night she was born, I didn't get any sleep. Then all day, obviously I had her with Josh in the hospital. Oh dear. We had our parents come, and then when it came to like the first proper night with her, like our only night in hospital, you know what it's like as a first time mum, you just can't sleep. You're constantly worrying, are they still breathing? Are they okay? You one tired girly. Are they okay? And I think we have 2 French bulldogs, so Josh went home to them around 8 p.m. just to let them out, take them on a walk. And you know what? I think I'm quite a strong, independent type of woman, and I'm quite used to babies. And when he said he was going home just for a bit to let the dogs out, I went under a little bit. I thought, please don't leave me. I don't want to be on my own. I don't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. I'd had her all day and she was fine and she was feeding and I've been changing her nappies, but it was just that thought of being on my own. I just didn't like it. I knew I couldn't go to sleep on my own with her. So Josh came back around midnight. So I was on my own with her for a few hours, but it was fine. The midwives were telling me, you know, go to sleep, everything will be fine. All her observations are fine. But I just couldn't. And then that next day, like the Tuesday, when we were being discharged, so she was born Sunday, we were going home Tuesday, I was exhausted. I felt sick. I was that exhausted. I wasn't really eating because I was just so worked up. Maybe the adrenaline, anxiousness, I don't know, but I just felt terrible. I just wanted to get home and I just knew I needed some sleep. And you know what? Absolutely, I know he's Lydia's dad, but my appreciation to Josh this last week, and especially when she was born, I honestly couldn't have done it without him. You single parents who do it on your own, I don't know how you do it. Honestly, I don't know. He's been amazing with her. He's not used to babies, but he's literally just taken to it straight away. Yeah, so we got home, and because she was early, we wasn't prepared for her. In terms of, we had everything, we just didn't know how it worked, like the sterilizer, the prep machine, the car seat, the pram, everything. We didn't know how it worked. We had it all, but we just thought we had a couple of more weeks until we needed to figure it all out. But no, it was fine, wasn't it? And I would say to anybody who is expecting a baby and you're a bit like me and you like everything perfect and you like to know what's going on, if it just so happens that baby comes early and you're not fully prepared, I promise you it will be okay. You'll find your rhythm, it will be fine, you'll get to grips with everything. So we come home and I was exhausted and we had to introduce it to the dogs. We had to work out how everything worked. But you know what? You really do find your own rhythm very quickly. Me and Josh just kind of shared the load. And there is something that I would say to anybody or any people becoming parents, you need to communicate with each other. That's a piece of advice that we were told, and I honestly couldn't say it any better now. I know I'm only a week in, but you really do need to communicate with each other on how you're feeling and what it is you need. If you need a timeout, you need a break, just communicate that, and hopefully your partner is responsive to that, and just take it in turns, like tag team, and yeah, you'll be fine, won't you? So that kind of takes us up to day 2. We'd just got home, and of course I'm overwhelmed, I'm exhausted, I'm so in love, and we just weren't prepared, but we very quickly found, like I said, our rhythm with things, and we became quite settled quite quickly at home. Obviously people are very excited for us, they're wanting to come round, which I was always under the thought of I'd like to get the visitors done and out of the way kind of thing as quickly as possible. And I'm quite glad I did that. A lot of people have already been and gone now, but around day 4, I don't know what it was, I just suddenly became quite emotional. I don't know whether a bit like depressive is the right word, but it just kind of hit me, everything that had happened, maybe emotion wise, the thought of, you know, it's taken us years to get to this point, and I think it really did kind of hit me. I was overwhelmed, I was emotional, I was exhausted. You're having to keep up this social front to people coming round, and it was just a lot. And I am the type of person who likes to be organised, I like to get things done, and I now was thinking, do I need to start looking into development stuff? I know she doesn't need a routine, or she's not going to do anything right now, but I was like, do I need to start getting prepared for tummy time and wake windows and keeping the lights on in the day and the lights off at night? And do I need to start doing all the baby admin of registering her birth and registering at the doctors? There's midwives coming around, there's health visitors. I just found it all too much. They were telling me she's got jaundice. Do I need to open a savings account? Do I need to go to baby classes? It was a lot, and I know I'm probably speaking way over the top, and I know, thinking back now, I just needed to tell myself to relax and then just enjoy what was around me. And I think it was mainly just out of sleep deprivation why I was feeling like this. I don't know if it's quite normal. The midwife, I spoke to her quite a lot about it. I was getting these feelings of when visitors were coming round. Okay, darling. So I was getting these kind of feelings. Dear. Oh dear. Of people, like when they were holding her, I was a bit like, give me back my baby. I don't know whether it's because I was so tired. I've only just kind of, okay, this is real life. I think I got myself into this bit of a state. And when people were coming to visit us, I was very much quite, don't know, frustrated. I was a bit like, I want my baby back. I don't know whether that was because I was tired. I'd only just got my hands on her myself, with it being surrogacy and IVF. And I was getting a bit emotional, feeling, you know, am I doing enough? Does she like me? Do we have the bond that people always talk about? I think I was just very much doubting and second guessing what was going on. And I think it was just sleep deprivation, all the emotions coming out. And I spoke to the midwife on it, and she said that is so normal, like, and it's okay to feel like that. You just need to acknowledge that you feel like that and try and work on fixing why you feel like that. So all I can say is that feeling only lasted around half a day on day 4, and since then things have gotten better. I'm feeling a bit more relaxed, a bit more settled. We're definitely in our own rhythm now. Me and Josh just taking turns with everything. And would I say the first week has been what I thought it would be? Yeah. Definitely in that newborn bubble, which has been really nice. But also we've both had little down times where obviously either of us have been tired or in like a low mood. And like I was saying before with the communication, we've just tried to pick each other back up or just take the reins a bit more when the other one has been feeling in that sort of low sleepy period. So yeah, I cannot believe how quick the first week has gone. She wasn't meant to be here until the 27th of January and she was born on the 28th of December. So we've had some extra time with her than we thought we would have, which has been lovely. Not that I wished for her to be born early, because I didn't want to experience her going to neonatal or anything like that. But luckily we haven't. We've just had a lovely extra few days, weeks than what we would have done. So yeah, I will do another video showing more on what our surrogate and our birth story was like. I'd like to do a story on how we've got to this point and sort of our back past story, because it's quite a long one and I don't think I could fit it all into one video without absolutely boring everyone. But yeah, I will be back next week to update you all with how week 2 has gone and just how we're getting into the rhythm of becoming parents. So yeah, I'll see you all next week.